Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Sorry if I'm looking a bit rough. Some maniac was chasing me with a chainsaw. I don't even know why. He was talking about something about bitches and diseases or something. I don't know. Maybe one of his dogs got rabies. I'm not really sure. Anyways, if you were to ask any deathcore or metalcore fan to name a guy named Brendan, they'd probably say Brendan Murphy from Counterparts, one of the better exports out of the shithole known as Canada. However, there's an even more interesting vocalist from an even shittier country that people don't seem to talk about anymore. Who is he? Where is he now? How much does he really hate women? Well, today, we're gonna find out, because this is episode 1 of metal's biggest wasted talents. And today, we're gonna be talking about Brendan Van Ryn from Thy Art Is Murder. Whoa!
Also, if you guys want to see me do a scuffed ass vocal cover of Horror Chainsaw, go to my channel. If you like this kind of content, give me a little sub. I only have 8 of them, and 3 of those are me on alternate accounts, so yeah, go do that.
Now, before we talk about Brendan as a vocalist and as a person, we have to talk about the formation of Thy Art Is Murder as a whole. They probably met while boxing kangaroos or something, to be honest. Editor, put in a picture, a badly photoshopped picture of CJ McMahon boxing a kangaroo. Oh, and if you could put a trans flag on that kangaroo just to piss some people off, that would be great, thanks. Unfortunately, there isn't a ton of info online about Thy Art's formation. However, what we do know is that the band formed in 2006 when most of the members were around 15. And I just have to mention for a second how crazy that is. They were writing songs for Infinite Death around that time, and those songs are pretty damn technical, so learning that they were just kids when they started writing that just blew my mind. Hell, when I was 15, I was writing shitty blackened deathcore and drop G with the most anally ass guitar tone known to man, thinking I was the absolute shit. Anyways, Thy Art was formed by a bunch of kids with attitude, and one of those kids was none other than our little emo incel, Brendan Van Ryn. In 2007, the band released the demo This Hole Isn't Deep Enough for the 12 of You, very creative name, and this was the first release that displayed Brendan's questionable lyrics. Now, if you know Infinite Death, you know that Brendan had a penchant for writing lyrics about killing women in some way or another, and that is no different on the songs that didn't make it onto the EP, the title track and Like a Face to a Blender. Very creative names, by the way. Although, to be fair, these ones are ever so slightly less obvious than something like Parasitic Autopsy, whose first version was actually on this demo. Now, moving on to 2008, we finally get what Brendan is most known for, musically wise anyway, Infinite Death. Infinite Death features Thy Art's most famous song, apart from Reign of Darkness, which I think we can all agree is mad overrated, but I digress. Horror to a Chainsaw. This song is the most interesting to me, not just because of the obvious parts of its lyrics, but also its suspicious implications. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to do a full lyrical analysis on Infinite Death. I mean, I think a baby could figure out what the album's about, but Horror to a Chainsaw is particularly interesting because of one line. Editor, play the clip. Now, I'm no lyrical analysis expert, but this is pretty obviously referring to STDs. I mean, I guess the disease in question could be referring to horniness or unrequited love, but I personally find it funnier to assume that a girl gave Brendan herpes in high school and he never quite recovered. Speaking of girls, why does Brendan hate women so much anyway? Now, this next part of the video is mainly going to be made up of anecdotes, either from people on Reddit who claim to have known Brendan, or known people that have known him, or anecdotes from CJ McMahon, who is a mostly reliable source, if you discount the stuff he said recently. So take what I say with a bit of a grain of salt. Brendan left the band later in 2008 after Infinite Death had come out, and according to the band at the time, this was simply due to creative differences. Apparently, while Brendan wanted to do the more breakdown-oriented style of deathcore that they did on Infinite Death, the rest of the band wanted to move on to something more brutal death-inspired and more tech death-inspired. Although that last tidbit is apparently sourced by CJ, so take that as you will. CJ also said later in interviews that Brendan was a massive narcissist and that he was actually kicked out of the band rather than leaving. And part of that was because he refused to practice his low vocals, thinking he was some sort of God's gift to deathcore or something. And while this exact reason isn't exactly corroborated by anything, his narcissism definitely is. Anyone who's mentioned knowing CJ or knowing someone that knew him said that he was a massive narcissist, as well as really fucking hating women. He really hated women, but really loved himself. Well, self-love is important, I guess. Adding to that, apparently he was also a big fucking cokehead while he was in NIART, so, I can't imagine that helped things. Now, apparently in recent years he has gotten clean, but he is equally narcissistic and misogynistic. Now, the only trace of Brendan on social media is a single Instagram account with, well, this in its bio. Yeah, definitely fitting for our boy. The only post on the account is from 2017, celebrating the anniversary of Infinite Death, and although they did make one comment on the post, it's pretty likely that the account is fake, although it is interesting that the profile picture is a picture of Brendan that I can't find anywhere else. So that not really answers what happened to Brendan, but what makes him such a waste of potential? To put it in 3 words, those fucking highs. When bro said, he fucking meant it. Now, I've seen from a single Reddit comment, like literally just one, that his sound could have been due to shitty technique, although given the fact that his lows were pretty good, I find that hard to believe. Overall, his highs were just extremely visceral. While other deathcore vocalists at the time were just trying to sound as inhuman as possible, he did that but with a shred of humanity. Like someone who was so far gone, yet had that ever so slight little bit of humanity left in them. It's like you're listening to a genuinely insane person. And I've spent fucking eons looking for bands that have similar vocalists to Brendan, and I really haven't found anything. Some somewhat decent examples are A Night in Texas, Infinite Annihilator when they had Dan Watson, Bloodbather, and Tactosa, rest in peace. Although these are only kinda close, with Tactosa being the closest, again, rest in peace, and none of them really scratch the itch anyways. Honestly, if you're looking for vocals like Brendan's, you're probably better off looking at DSBM or Narcotic Metal, as their whole shtick, especially Narcotic Metal, is having absolutely insane vocals. But overall, Brendan did it like no one else, and those, 8 songs are all we have of that. Just, that's it. Nothing else. He never did anything ever again. And that, to me, is a massive fucking waste. So, was Brendan a bad guy? Kinda. Did he hate women? Definitely. But was he an underrated vocalist who definitely needed another band? Absolutely. Now you're coming over here. You're coming over here. Anyway, was he an underrated vocalist that absolutely needed to be in another band? Yes. His sound was like nobody else in the scene. He did it like nobody else, and looking back at those old records makes me kind of sad that we never got anything quite like it, and nothing else with Brendan. And if you think about it, his time in Thy Art is almost like lost media, as there's only like 2 or 3 concert recordings of Brendan out there. And to anyone who would say that his technique was shit or that he couldn't recreate the vocals live, that's simply not true. He was really good live and could switch between his highs and his lows really fucking well. I don't know what gave him his sound. Maybe it was just wonky technique combined with such a deep rage and hatred for that girl that gave him herpes and then left him, that gave him the drive to do those insane vocals. But either way, they make him one of metal's biggest wastes of talent. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, drop a like and subscribe. Like I said, I only have 8 subscribers. And if you have another idea for any short-lived metal legends, drop them down below and I might make a video on them. I've been Anthony, and this has been your not at all daily dose of extra internet downloadable content. I'll see y'all next time. By the way, I just want to shout out my best friend Esther over at the Esther T Inc. channel. He does gaming stuff like AVGN, and he's been my best friend for years, and he's been my biggest inspiration when it comes to a lot of things like content creation. And he really gave me the push to actually put my creativity into something like this. So, Esther, I know you're watching this, so thanks a lot for inspiring me to get off my ass and actually do something creative. And also, I'm going to touch you.